shining, so I'm celebrating more life. While you outside still trying to pass
I'm
the
your
door,
host,
guy.
Dajuan Pulliam, and you're here on Kalos Kocktail Hour. This is a special day, actually special evening. Not because of, I'm on the show. Nah, not at all. But I'm here with this founder and CEO. By the age of 29 years old, he started a filtration company. And by the way, I'm gonna taste it today, the water, but I'm pretty sure we just had a conversation before we started, and he was saying they filter the same way we filter our Kalosvodka, so I'm pretty sure it's smooth. So we're gonna be drinking some of that later. But this young gentleman started a company by the name of the Good Water Company and Market. It's a brick and mortar facility dispensing quality alkaline and purified water located in Gardena, California. When I heard about this company, I told myself, I said, I got to find out who's the owner of this company because I just like the aesthetic and, to start a water company, that's not something that's, usual, especially within the Black community. So I was like, let me find out who's the owner of this company and let me tap in with them and see what's going on. So I was able to have the privilege to meet this young fella. And come to find out, he said, I will do it. So we got him here on the show today. We here with no other than Marcel Nash.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. It's the first time I've actually done a podcast. And I love everything you got going on. Respect another young Black man doing this thing. So let's get started.
Most definitely. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. Well, thanks for being here. What am I saying? Thanks for having me.
The drink already kicking
in. I didn't take a little sip earlier. It's all good though. So tell me about your journey. Tell me about how you started and just how did you end up becoming, the founder and CEO of a water dispensary company. And let's get into it.
Hearing it from you sounds way different than how it feels because like saying founder, CEO, like I didn't even think about it like that. I got into, let's say, just water itself, been a water snob, I like to call it.
Okay.
I used to, had a Costco bottles, the Kirklands, the Crystal Geysers, whatever it was, go to the gym, on my way to school, on my way to work, drink about 3-4 of those, throw them in the back seat. So after a week, my back seat looked like a recycling unit. And
sure.
I got tired of that, cleaning bottles out, trying to let my seat back. There's a bottle under it. And my dad and my uncle, they lived with each other, and they used to buy the 5-gallon drums or jugs, I guess, of water, and they used to get alkaline water. Every time I go to their house, I would go like, damn, this water is way more crisp than, the water that I've been drinking. And I asked them how much it was, and, they filling it up for a fraction of what I'm paying for 48 packs of water. And so just to conserve a little bit of money, I went and bought my own jugs, start filling up at their same water dispensary, going to one by my house. And I got curious, like, how does one make profit off of water? Because I've never seen a Black dude with a water store, a Black woman, Black person in general. And I got curious. So I would go to certain water stores and ask, and, they wouldn't, I guess, want to give you the game of, the simple questions I was asking. How do you get started? Like, where do you even get the material? Stuff like that. Some people don't want to tell you the game. They say the game is to be sold, not told.
Not to be told. That's the truth to some extent.
Exactly, to an extent. But, yes. So my pops and my uncle, they were going to a young guy, a Hispanic dude named Edgar in Downey. And I went up there one day and spoke to him and clearly asked him, like, bro, how do you turn water into profit? And at the time, I was working 2 jobs. I was working at Delta Airlines and I was working as a technician at a Dodge dealership. So I was trying to get out of that and find, my own way. So he basically told me everything. He was like, this is the entry cost. It took me this long to find this. I did this before I got into this and, so on and so on.
Okay.
He told me how much you would need, and at the time, I was working a lot, but I wasn't too serious. Fast forward 5 years, I saved up the money, and this was around, 2019, became fascinated with water and so intrigued that I was like, I gotta start my own water store.
Definitely.
But went into it, ears wet, head first, never been in business. I always was a good hustler as far as working on cars, or I'm very handy, but never done something to the magnitude of this. So
most definitely.
To be going into my first complete year on February 1st, it again feels weird hearing founder, CEO, because it's just like I'm taking it day by day and trying to make it into something.
And it's okay. I mean, that's that's how it is. When you start, and especially when you're doing it, when you're hands on, you're in it. Founder, CEO, boss man or woman or whatever the case may be. It's just, those are all titles and just words at the end of the day. But what really matters is what are you doing every day to, if you do have employees, to help your employees, to help them do their job effectively and efficiently, so you can create systems to be able to build, businesses or your company, build it and scale it, whatever the case may be. And I think, that's very important. And one thing that you said that was very important was the fact that it seems to be the same kind of repetitiveness type of way of it was always someone who helped me, it was always someone that, a mentor or something. So Ager was a very integral part in your success of building your company.
Yeah, for sure.
And how did you go about, I know your dad kind of introduced you because he was already getting water from his location, but how did you go about, how did you keep an impression, or what did you do, so to speak, for him to remember you for, within 5 years later, you know what I mean, for him to know who you were?
To be honest, I'm not sure. It might have been kept up by my pops and my uncle.
Okay.
I definitely went, and I would, have small, banter with him. Hey, how you been? How's everybody doing? How's business type of things? But I don't know. I liken myself to be shy, but when I do open up, I open up. So I like to have, conversation. I can converse with pretty much anybody, and maybe that was it. And I don't know. It strikes me now even.
Yeah.
I think.
All right, startup costs.
All right, so startup costs, I would say minimum 40 to just get into it. Your equipment alone is gonna cost you 20 plus.
Okay.
Location, that's deposit, that's whatever you have to do inside. A lot of these new developments, you can get in there and just do whatever you want, but you still have to run plumbing. You have to pay a plumber. Luckily my father's a plumber by trade, so we save there, and I'm handy as well. Your aesthetic. Are you gonna do anything as far as your aesthetic? One thing that stands out with my store is different from any water store you go into. The aesthetic is just very simple, but also stands out. I wanted to go for that classic industrial look. So our shelves are exposed wood, black pipe, the floors are cement, the walls are actual old plaster and brick, and we etched it out, painted it to look, old and industrial. So I always say, your aesthetic, and that's pretty much what drives people in.
For sure.
If you want to keep it simple, you can go in, buy a building with that drop down office looking ceiling, tile or whatever, just throw your equipment in there and keep on going. But I wanted it to stand out because I knew it was going to be a place that I'm going to spend, every day at. I'm there 7 days a week. I'm open 6, but I'm there working 7. So I wanted it to be somewhere comfortable. I didn't want it to feel like an office vibe. So if you get into it, you're going to spend a little bit more than that 40. I spent, a little bit more than that, but 40 is just, if you save that up, you can get in and start. You can always develop as you go.
Most definitely.
My motto was to get in and do everything that I wanted, so I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, and I think that's awesome, because I like when I first walked in, the fact that it's real. It felt earthy. It felt industrial. It felt clean. It felt fresh. And plus, if I'm getting some water from somewhere, I want it to be clean and look clean. Smell clean. You have plants there, and everything seems to be for sale, right? So it's the plants. You had plants for sale. This for sale. I was the spray bottle next to the plant for sale. I was
hey, money talks.
I said the POS system. That's for sale.
Hey, money talks. Okay.
That's funny. That's awesome. Well, I like that concept. I like it. I think it's dope. And the fact of the matter is, you can actually see, where the water is coming from. So when you walk into the left-hand side, if you're coming from the front, from the left-hand side, you have the water filtration right there. So you can actually see. Sometimes people have it in the back where you can't really see how the filtration is going. Here, you can actually see it. And one thing that I noticed when I was there, that you did was like everything. You actually helped your customers fill in, put the water in the buckets or whatever they were bringing in to fill. So I thought that was awesome, and you actually cleaned everything that you was putting the water in. So you hit a little button, cleared, and I was like, oh man, I was like, this guy, you spot on, like you doing it. I think that's dope. But those attention to detail, that's important. So like you said, like whether if it's branding, whether if it's your car, whatever it is, you want to pay attention to the details because that's what's really going to keep you going and keep you successful.
Everything is in the details. Like I'm big on like I love cars, I love motorcycles. And the one thing that make you stand out is not like a radical paint job or something like that. It's always the detail. So even when you walk in the store, I love the fact when people come in and like, damn, it smells good in here. And I'm like, well, all right. The first thing that attracts me into a store, if it smells good, like I look at the old concept like Abercrombie and Hollister used to do.
Yeah, right when you walk in.
The store filled smelling like a bottle of cologne. But you like, damn, what is this? And then you start shopping back in the day. So I kind of use the same method, but I like cleanliness, and I, just like you said, you go into a store, you get some water, you don't want to see cobwebs in the corner. You want it to look clean and smell good. So
because you automatically relate that to that in water. What's
exactly
in the water?
Like damn,
cleaning
if this is dirty, then what about the system?
So, right. That's even thinking, even too about like people that drink soda or drink from like the fountain sodas. It's like you actually have to like take those off and clean in there and clean them, and a lot of people don't do that.
Do not do that.
So that's why I'm even hesitant when I do drink soda. Like do they clean they take this off?
Just
actually,
like the people that go to like the portable or the window water machines or something. A lot of people ask me like, why don't I have one? It's because the upkeep. It's like people tag on them. You got people doing whatever you want. It's just like a water fountain. If you don't keep up on the cleanliness of that, your water ain't gonna be clean. So I look at that a lot of people. I think there's like 2 of those window machines nearby me, but I know they aren't upkept, and you have to stay like up on everything. I've only been open for almost a year, and I stay up on my filters. If I even see a drop in the TDS or if it goes up or my alkaline starts to drop, I go swap out filters because I'd rather spend that money to keep it right than wait and your product drop and then somebody else notices it.
Exactly.
Or I notice it myself. So
that's smart.
Yeah.
And do you need and so there's no one that's coming from the state or anyone that's coming in to regulate that. That's all on you, or how does that work with like
so you
legal?
Regulate it. When you first get into it, you have to get all your water tested. So it's like a series of 5 tests. You take them to a lab, they test it, you send it to the state, they send an inspector out, they come and inspect everything, they make sure everything's up to code. And as far as like, just making sure the water is clean, and that's pretty much it. Every year you have to recertify it. So mine is coming up. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, awesome.
Every day you have to like keep a log of the total dissolved solids in your water. So a lot of people keep it on paper, but I do a lot of stuff out of my iPad now just because I'm forgetful, or I'll spill some water on it or something. So I'll keep it in my iPad just so I don't got this paper just looking all messed up. But you definitely got to keep up on everything.
Okay.
So it becomes a habit though because you have to do it every single day.
Got it. So outside of course, you need your business license, all that, your business stuff. You still have to keep a log, and you still have your annual type of regulation thing. And this is the state, right? Or
it's
federal?
the state.
Okay.
So you just go get your water tested. It goes from 5 tests to about, I think it's 3. It's just 2 is for your entry, and then you do 3. You have to keep resubmitting every year.
Okay.
And the state goes about it. So I'll find out this year what's the second part of it, I guess, once I send in the second results.
Okay. That's pretty, so it's pretty cut and dry. And it's no like nuances or anything. That's just great. Yeah, that's great. Cause I know in the alcohol industry, there's so much red tape and so much different type of stuff.
I could imagine.
And so that's great to know that like you can literally, this is all you have to do, cut and dry. There's not like, it's like you can have events in your space and you don't have to worry about, you can't have too much water at your space.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
So that's great. So what's the difference between purification plant and a water filtration and or a water dispensary? Is there any difference between those or?
Not really, because it just depends on, I guess, the amount that you're purifying. So, the more water you're purifying, the more things you have to add to your system, or the more things that the state might require. I produce up to 1,500 gallons a day. So with that 1500, you can add another tank, and it may require you to add another membrane filter or, you know, a second water softener or something like that. But it's pretty much all the same things. It's just different scales to everything. So I'm more so on a smaller scale because I've opened up just to really do, you know, people bring in their bottles or I sell bottles and they fill it up. And then I also do like small batch cases for some deliveries, or people might come in and want to buy cases of water. Or I also do, you know, business delivery. So sometimes they don't want the 5-gallon jugs. They just want cases of bottles because their workers are just going to grab them out the fridge. So if once the mission is to pick up and maybe distribute water, so then I'll, you know, have to alter and go into different things, but it's pretty much all the same thing.
I'm just guessing as far as, well, if you go to distribution level, it's pretty much you just get a bigger warehouse to be able to store everything at a time. So when you get orders, you just leave straight from the warehouse.
Streamlining everything. You get a bigger place to store, bigger place to bottle, and to fit machines to compensate for, you know, that man work that you got to do.
Almost definitely. That's awesome. So you have distilleries. I mean, excuse me, not distilleries. I'm over here snowed in.
Look, you're still in
I'm still in vodka mode. So you have dispensaries, and no, we're not talking about weed dispensaries. We're talking about water, H2O.
Exactly.
Dispensary.
We're dispensing, you know, clean, fresh, alkaline, and purified water.
And so you can have dispensaries, and then you can kind of work your way up to like a plant. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So when you're making this water, or when this water is, so can you make water, by the way? Like create water from scratch?
I'm not Jesus. I cannot make water from scratch, but I can take the trash out of your water and make it feel like, you know, it's brand new water. I can say that.
So which stove?
I season the water.
So you see, so you flavor a little bit.
There we go.
Sprinkle me. E40, sprinkle me.
Exactly. Sprinkle me, baby. Exactly.
So when you do that, you're making alkaline, or you're making purified water, or does purified come before alkaline?
Purified comes before alkaline. So what we do, we take the water that the FDA says is good for you to drink, and which it isn't, and that water can have from 400 to 600 total dissolved solids in it. Like I said, we test it every morning. So we take that, filter it out, and make it like damn near distilled, because distilled water is pretty much zero in the TDS. My water tests between 1 and 3 every day, so it can change just, you know, depending on how much water you circulating through the system in a day and when you test it. But
when you say TDS, what does that mean?
So that's total dissolved solids.
So
that's
total dissolved.
Any total dissolved solids can be like chlorine and stuff like that in your water, which we're removing. So it's going through, you know, our water softener, our micron filters, our membrane filters, a water polisher, a UV light, a series of filters. That's what purifies it. So those tanks in my store, those are 2 300-gallon tanks. So we keep 600 gallons. And once it loses about 200 gallons, there's a trigger mechanism that will automatically trigger the system to create more water. So when you want alkaline water, it will go from the purified tanks and go back through 2 more filters to, you know, add the potassium, the magnesium, and to make it alkaline. And then, that's pretty much how you raise the pH in the water.
So is there one that's better for you? Is purified better than alkaline for you, or is it all different depending on what you need?
I don't like to get into the semantics. Well, I do, but there's so many YouTube videos and water experts out there, but it's really like preference, because everybody's body is different. So I drink alkaline water every day. I've been drinking alkaline water pretty much every day for a while. Sometimes I'll just throw purified in there because I'm in the store. Purified, well, let's say this. Alkaline water is better for you because you're getting those minerals that you need. When you purify water, you're taking some minerals out, but you still have some important minerals in there. But the alkaline is adding, so you can
overly add.
So you can add to make the pH where you're getting the exact minerals you want. Just as if, you know, most other brands are doing on a larger spectrum, I guess you can say.
Got it. So that's good to know, because I thought it was like, I didn't, you know, you can understand the concept of, you know, purified water and, you know, alkaline, but it's like, you know, why is these, you have 100 water, you know, companies out here in the store. Why is it, you know, this one is $4, you know, or this one is $6 and this one is $2.99, you know, and they both saying alkaline. Why? But I guess that's an important part.
It depends
on the process. They can be using, they're not using, the one that's $2.99 might not be using UV lights. You know, it may not be using, you know, certain filtration.
It's also like
to,
branding too. Like if you look at, you know, most of these brands that switch over to glass or like the biodegradable bottles, it's a lot of branding that goes into it. We live in California, and most of these brands start here or like it's big here to be bio-friendly, which I'm big on as well. But it also costs to be that way. So branding goes into it where you'll see, you know, a flow, which is like, you know, $4 or a mountain spring water or something like that. A lot of these spring waters, they do come from springs, but they go through the same filtration process as your water has to for your vodka and mine does to purify.
Got it.
You can't just go to a river and take a pipe and then move it over into a bottle. You still have to filter the water. So, but it's all about branding
and the marketing. Because a lot of that, I mean, like you say, like literally, that could be a commercial. Somebody moving the, you know, the pipe from the spring to the
literally
to the store.
Arrowhead had one like that where the waterfall was going into the bottle,
and that's spring water and all that. And I think, you know, that's a very important aspect. Is you know, majority of people, you know, are consumers, and there are people, they're not really worried about the backstory. It is worried sometimes worried about it. If I need water, I'm just looking at the one who really market the most. That's what I'm buying. And then you have, you know, those individuals who are, I would say, more educated or more, you know, aware of what they're buying, you know, and you know, when we see, so individuals like me and yourself, when we see those type of things, we're like, hold on. We're like, okay, they moving a pipe over here on a commercial and it says spring. Well, hold on, how? So when it goes from the spring to the store, what happens in between that? You know what I mean? We ask those questions.
And I was naive to it. Like I used to think like, yeah, this comes from a spring. Like y'all really going to Niagara and just taking the water out? But this is before I really got in the water. And then people would ask me when they come into the store. So then I was like, let me really learn this process so I can tell them, because a lot of people want to know the difference. And I'm like, it may come from, you know, the spring, but once you take water and you move it and you take it through some process, the alkalinity changes, everything about the water changes. So you still have to run it through a filter, and it's nice to say it came from a certain place, but at the end of the day, when you're trying to make clean water, you got to go through the same process.
For sure. Okay, that's good to know. So you hear that? So don't be fooled by all those commercials and marketing and advertising. You know, really go to where the water is purified and it's really for you, and it's created by individuals look like you, or individuals that want to see you, you know, be healthy. And you know, you brought up not a good point, because it is a sorrow moment, but it's important because I feel like with sorrow moments and tragedies bring triumph. And you know, with your uncle passing, which is your dad's twin, it really brought out a different side of you, you know, and it created, you could have used that as something dark, but you use it as something light, and you created something that's now helping a community and helping people. And so looking at that, I look at, you know, water, it's bigger than water for you. You know what I mean? Water is just the outlet that allow you to do the things you want to do, but it's bigger than water. I mean, it's kind of more like energy. And I say, you know, we are like, 60% of water, and it's all about frequency. It's all about, you know, vibration. And, you know, when you're becoming a master, I say, a master, an expert at something, it's important. And this is something that really helps, you know, lives and helps people. So through that, I say that tragedy, it really helps. So how do you give back, or do you help, you know, others outside of water, you know?
I'm big on being helpful. Like I'm more of a giver than like looking for something to receive. It's like even with my store, we're coming up on our first year. Several programs I want to start. Starting a nonprofit. And my thing was, I don't want to hire any employees per se. Like I want to get kids like me, like I'm from Compton. You got to stay busy, because there's a lot of things that you can do that keep your mind busy, and running into the wrong places and doing the wrong things. So you want to keep people busy. I wish I had somebody that was like, you know, had a store or something in my neighborhood where I'm like, oh, I can go hang out up there. So I kind of want to open up a program for kids that's like, you know, seniors in high school. Even my younger cousins, trying to get them in there to work. They still young, and this age is a little different when they come to work, but you got to kind of talk them into it to coming up there and actually getting some experience. And as far as like the neighborhood I'm in, it's not like the best neighborhood, but it's definitely a lot of love in that neighborhood and in that side of Gardena. And, I give water to a lot of the kids. I try to teach the kids that come in and do a lot. Like, I love kids a lot, especially where I'm from, because I feel like, again, you got to give them something to do and something to aspire for.
Oh, definitely.
It per se don't mean that they want to get in the water, but, seeing an entrepreneur that's just like you, I'm not in there giving them my best proper voice or whatever, I created this to dress how I want. I created it to talk how I want, and I can relate to a lot of people over there. And I try to give good energy. And then, of course, this is still first year, so going into it, I want to expand and actually be able to help a lot more people and give clean water to schools or whatever they ain't got it, and just provide a lot more. Nice. So to come with that, it just comes with stability. So trying to build stability before I jump in head first again into something and give too much. But I definitely like to be helpful on any playing field that I'm in.
Awesome. No, that's great. And I think that's I believe that's one of the most, when I speak to other founders, CEOs of companies, that's one of the biggest thing, like the thread is giving back and always giving back, and always it's because it's bigger than you. So it's great to hear you say that. And another founder, CEO, on the same level of giving back and supporting others in order, and it's like it's an energy. It like you don't get nothing in return for that, but it gives you energy to either keep going for your business, to keep scaling your business, to grow. So it all comes back full circle. Yeah. And even though this is about founders, CEOs, we never want to forget. A lot of people take those words for out of context and say, "Oh, these founder CEOs, they're very selfish. They're all about themselves and all that." And that's not true at all. Facet. It's just the individual who say that is a lot of individuals who really are not in it, and really don't want to put the work in and really see what this is really about. Yeah. So that's why I think it's important. I always want to highlight that as far as how, others are giving back. That seems like, and before I even say this, I'm a person who takes from the cookie jar, and if I take 2 cookies out, I put 4 back in. I double it or triple it, whatever. Same. That's just how I am. So it's like everyone around me, I always want everyone around me to benefit. Yeah. So if everyone else around me is benefiting, they may not be benefiting on the magnitude that I'm benefiting on, because they may not be what I'm on. Yeah. You know what I mean? But doesn't mean they didn't benefit.
Oh, for sure.
So, but then when you get, individuals who say, well, man, I didn't benefit as much as he did. Well, did you have your business license? Did you have this? Did you have that? Did you have anything that you can actually maximize this situation off of? No, you didn't. But he still looked out. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's very, very important. So, but without further ado, we got your water here, the Good Water Company.
That's the Alkaline.
And where can you find this? Can you order this online?
So I'm working on my website right now.
Okay.
Again, doing a lot of stuff by myself, so the scale part of it. But on February 1st, I'll more than likely be launching a website unless we run into a hiccup.
Okay.
But to make it ready to order, right now we doing it, if you call in, a lot of people hit me up on Instagram. That's pretty much where we gained a lot of popularity at. And that's my way of like kind of keeping it at a point where I can control how many people can make orders, because I know once I do make it where you can shop online, I'm gonna have to produce a lot more than I do now. So I'm just gearing up for that right now.
So right now they can only get it pretty much in store. In stores. And where is your store located?
In Gardena, so it's 840 West Gardena Boulevard, Gardena, California, 90247. You can look it up on Google, Apple Maps, Yelp. It's the Good Water and Market. And if you've been at the store, I mean, the environment, you've seen me and my pops or maybe a friend or two in there, and you've tried the water, it's great, because everybody that does come in, the water was good.
Yeah, it is.
That's where I got the name from. I'm like, what do you say when you parched and you drink some water? Damn, this water is good.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, damn, that's a good name.
Yeah, it got a little, it's super like smooth, and it's like, got a little, feel like got flavor to it. Like, and I know it don't got no flavor to it, but it's
just crisp.
It got
it's just crisp. It's nice. Stay up on these filters.
Yeah, that's good.
Give a crisp product to the people.
Yeah, that's good. So Good Water. I got another one here too.
And that's
Good
the Purified.
And it's the Purified.
Yeah.
So Black Cap Purified and
White Cap is usually Alkaline. So sometimes I change them up. I change my labels often too. Sometimes it's as simple as a sticker with the Instagram. Sometimes it's intricate with the story on it.
Okay.
Going into New Year, our birthday, I guess you can say, we're going to do a series of 12 different labels that reflect things that I like. So the first one is going to start off with travel. I like travel, so we kind of designed the logo, or not the logo, the label to resemble like an old school plane ticket or even like a new one. So it's just something to play around with. I'm always indecisive about what to stick with as far as labeling. So I'm always trying to get ideas from different stuff. Like I was even caught myself looking at yours and it's just like trying to get an idea, but also stick with something because I do want to make it, you know, brand worthy. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe I can switch it up and keep somewhat of the same platform.
Yeah, and you can have like one bottle that's the same way, you know, that people can get, and then you have these other like kind of renditions of, you know, like you're saying, like every, whether if it's a plane ticket or something, that's a special one. You can actually go up on price on those that you do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So if you just want to get the regular, you get it at the same price, whatever, the distilled or purified alkaline. But then if you want to get the, you know, I'm doing the 100 bottles only with the
So I low key do that with our infused water. So I do infused water, which sells out pretty fast. I do chlorophyll water, I do lavender mint, and I do activated charcoal, honey, and lemon.
Oh, okay.
And the chlorophyll comes in these plastic 1 liters, but I also have glass, which the other ones come in, and the chlorophyll also is in glass, which is a little bit more expensive because you're getting the glass. You can also reuse glass if you want. And, you know, it looks better. It's more crisp. You just, glass is just always better to have. Like, I drink water out of glass all the time. As we see, liquor comes in glass.
Most definitely.
It's just about the branding. And I want to get more into glass for bottling. So that's like my lead in is using the infused water, make about a small batch of 50 to 100. And over what I just started last month, and in a 30-day period, we sold out of 100 of them. So,
nice,
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Because I mean, there's not a lot of brands out there that deal with glass. Well, there's there's a lot.
It's a couple,
but I mean that really like stood out. That's like really like, because the one that would come to my mind is Voss. You know, Voss is like the one that really took that glass and said, "This is the pinnacle of water if it's in a glass bottle." But then you have different water companies that have glass and stuff, but they really, I feel like, didn't really look at it as far as like, you know, a marketing thing. It was just more of like, this is what we do to chill.
It's getting more so like, you know, everybody's trying to be bio-friendly now, which we should, which I want to tend more to. Some people stand their ground on plastic because it's cheap. You know, as long as you can find a BPA-free plastic, which I also offer. So
this is BPA, right?
So these aren't BPA.
Okay.
This is regular PC plastic.
Okay.
So I also have BPA-free plastic and glass. So, you know, I give options, and then that's how.
So you can bring this BPA over here.
Hey, wait, so hold on now. Ain't been to the sun. I just bottled these up for us, man.
I'm messing with you.
Okay. All right, I knew it was coming right out. You know, the water's so good, we was going to drink it all.
I feel you. I'm messing with you.
I got my glass jug. I just brought the poison for you.
Oh, man. You come drink my Kalos, dude.
Let me go ahead. This is pretty good, too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So traveling. So you travel. I would say, does that have a lot to do with you starting a company? Like, did it really, I guess, widen or brighten your horizons to be able to look at things differently?
I would say inadvertently. Like before I started traveling, I was working at Delta Airlines. Got hired there when I was like 18, 19. And I didn't start really traveling out of the country until I was about 20.
Okay.
And over that course of time, I've been to 29 countries and 31 altogether.
Okay.
And yeah, I can say it put my mind on a different playing field as far as how the way I was thinking. I can say I was thinking small before. And then once you start traveling, you speak to people from different places and you see how they think. And then you come back home with that same mentality, and it, you know, it kind of skews how you think. So it definitely opened up my eyes to like, you don't have to join the rat race too fast. You don't have to stick to a career like, you know, a lot of our parents do. You know, you find out one career that pays well enough, you get benefits and you stay there, but you don't really take risk. So it definitely opened up my eyes to taking more risks, like traveling to third world countries and stuff like that. Something that I'd be like, man, I ain't going there. What you talking about? Like, ain't they at war right now and stuff like that? It opened up your eyes to taking more risks because traveling is a risk in some ways, and I plan to stay alive for a long time, so I can take a risk. As long as I got life, I feel like I have time to take risks. So it definitely opened up my eyes to that.
So did you come from entrepreneurs? Did you come from an entrepreneur background? Did you family entrepreneurs?
Nah, not really. Like, my mom has been, I'm 30, so she's been at the postal office. She's been a mail carrier for almost 30 years.
Okay.
I'm predominantly raised by my mom, been with my mom my whole life. My mom was definitely a hustler. She has her career, but I definitely get a lot of my hustle from my mom. Like, my mom can turn a penny into, $100 in a second, just off of figuring stuff out. So I definitely get that from her. My pops was a plumber, pipe fitter, and he retired early. And I can say he definitely has, like, he won't say that he's a creative person, but he has a creative mindset, I'll say. So
Got it.
I can say I definitely share that with him, like not spending like that much time with him growing up, but ending up being damn near just like him.
Yes.
He was in the cars when he was younger. I was in the cars.
Hey,
like,
blood thicker than water.
Man, we look damn near just alike. So yeah, I can definitely say though, I got a lot of hustle from my mom, and I got my mom is one of 6, so I have 4 aunties and 1 uncle, and they all used to just pull it like a rabbit out of a hat in some messed up situations, and that kind of stuck with me. So no big entrepreneurs as far as anybody having like their own businesses or anything. I do got an older cousin that inspired me with a lot of stuff like that he does, but he has college education and everything. I went to community college and it took me way too long to get an AA, but I knew school wasn't really for me. I'm very intelligent, I'll say, but I like hands-on lessons. So that kind of inspired me to jump into doing the entrepreneurial thing.
Awesome. Awesome. And it's funny because a lot of founder CEOs, they don't like school, and school is not for everybody. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, I graduated from USC. Went to USC, got my master's from the veteran business.
That's fire.
For veterans, and
that's definitely fire.
But I say it was in me, it wasn't on me. So regardless if I would have went through that program or not, I was always going to build something, do something. And I think, so school wasn't, I wouldn't say it was my forte, but I just knew it was like kind of like a deck of cards. It's like you just want to stack your deck, have the joker, the ace, the queen. So in any situation, you could throw whatever cards you need out.
I would never discount nobody that went to school because that takes patience. It's a lot to go to school. So I commend you for that.
No, but I say this to say that it's not important. You know what I mean? Because it's a means to an end, but it's not necessarily it all be all. You gotta really know yourself and know what you're capable of doing, know what you want to do. Because there's people out here that got PhDs and don't have a company. They can't even create a water company.
I got friends like that.
Exactly. And you're doing way better than them. They over here got degrees and they went to school for 18 years. Then you got people that went to school for 18 years and doing magnificent. You know what I mean? So there is no rhyme or reason to it, but it's just that you have to really understand yourself and know yourself. And regardless of if it's school or not, the thing about it is what it is and why you're doing what you're doing and what you're doing it for. That's the most important. And I know a lot of my podcasts, I say, what's your why and what's important now? Why you do what you do and what is important. And with that being said, I mean, I hear a lot of that in you. You're an individual that, started very young, 24 or so years old, starting this company, and to where you are now at 30, and you knew what you wanted to do and why you're doing what you're doing. Your uncle was why you're doing what you're doing, because what happened to him, it got you thinking of why is this, why is that, and kept watching all these whys to eventually have this exterior product called the good water.
Yeah, for sure.
And then what you're doing it for, and I think that's awesome, and I commend you for that.
Appreciate
and I think that's dope, and I think you have to hear your flowers and get your flowers while you can.
Appreciate
and
that.
I want you to understand that that's awesome, and keep it up and don't stop.
Oh, for sure.
And yeah, man, and I would love to see your journey and love to see where you're going.
Likewise.
And we almost about to wrap up. We're not gonna wrap up yet. We got a couple more questions, but with that being said, we're gonna kind of break it up a little bit and get into this game.
Okay.
This game is called Bullshit or No Bullshit.
Okay.
You can say BS or you can say NB.
I curse a lot already, so this is cool.
So they're not hard questions. They have to do we kind of actually answered them already while we were talking. But so these kind of probably be kind of easy questions. But They're basically how it goes is I ask a question, you answer it. You either say bullshit or no, or not bullshit or no bullshit. And if you get it right, I drink. If you get it wrong, you drink.
Okay.
I probably, now that I'm thinking about it, because we didn't answer dang near all these questions. I should have given us some harder questions. But guys, we're gonna get through it. We're gonna get through it. All right. So, you ready for this?
Yeah, shoot.
Adults are 60% water.
Bullshit. It's more.
What is it?
75%. It's actually a tweaked percentage, but it's 75.
It's 75? It's 60% water.
60%.
60% water.
Really?
So it kind of fluctuates. It depends on, of course, the body mass.
Okay.
It depends on the body mass of the person. But on average, 60%. So that's you. That's you.
So I'll take a sip of this then.
All right, that's you. And then we actually going to do...
I feel like I'm about to be... This about to be gone.
we got more. Don't worry about that. We can fix that issue. We could be doing Kalos shots. But we could be doing Kalos shots.
I got like 2 good Kalos shots.
All right, let's do some Kalos shots.
So if you want to save them for a good question where you think you're gonna get me,
that was the one. I should have got it on.
See, I done drank like 2.5 of these already, so my answers may be skewed, people.
Yeah, all right. You say I'm 2 in. All right, here we go. Number 2. There is a such thing as water intoxication.
Like being high off water?
Not necessarily being high off water, but you can be intoxicated off water.
I'm going to say not bullshit, because once you drink the good water, you're intoxicated. You're like, damn, I want more of this. You become a fiend. So I would say not bullshit.
so you're right. Yeah, I give it.
There we go. Right. Look, I like my thought process.
The thought process behind the thought process behind it, though.
Hey man, it worked out. That's it.
But it worked. And good water did good for you.
So become a fiend of the good water.
So let me take a little sip.
There we go.
All right, the next one gonna be a shot.
All right,
a shot of Kalos. Hold on, let me read it. Make sure this is worthy of a shot.
I mean, Kalos is good, so I mean, it's all worthy.
You're right.
So this is smooth.
Right.
And I want to let y'all know, I'm not really a vodka drink like that, but this is very, very smooth. I have not queased, I have not made a face, and I actually asked for more. And this man made a great martini. So, hey, appreciate
Kalos.
That. This is a beautiful brand right
here. And you know, I don't know if you know, they actually have lights that come with them.
Oh shit!
So they light up. Hey. So that's Kalos. You know,
this takes me back to the clubs in my yonder years. Okay, this is fire. I like this. Yes. Okay, and we got different sequences. Oh, this is like a nice little night light. I can set this over the bed.
Yeah, you in there.
It might, make me drink a little bit more, but I also keep the good water with me.
Disclaimer.
Drink responsibly, please.
Drink responsibly. Okay, this is the shot one right here.
All right.
Okay, let me see. Hold on. Let me make sure.
Hey, man, you're doing too much liquor, man. Come on, give me the one with the shorter shot.
We in there. Okay, so right here, number 3. Mm-hmm. Any liquid can be turned into water.
Yeah, you can filter anything. I don't know if you want to per se call it water, but you can filter. It's a tricky question.
So hold on. So is it bullshit or not bullshit or no bullshit?
Bullshit.
It's bullshit? That's the answer? Okay.
No,
that final answer or no? I'm trying to throw a bone at you.
Bullshit.
All right, it is. It's bullshit.
So it's bullshit, but it's funny. I've seen this experiment a long time ago where somebody took some liquor and it was Hennessy, and they ran it through a series of filters and they removed all the color, and you can still get drunk off of it. So it's not considered water, but it has no taste. It has no color.
It's clear.
And yeah, we were taking shots of that. And
well, that sounds a lot like vodka, goddamn.
So it's basically putting it through a purification process. And you still get messed up.
Okay.
But it don't taste like nothing but water. So that's why I got thrown off, because I'm like, I tried this before, but it ain't water, so bullshit.
All right, so you want to take a shot too? I'm going to take a shot
with you. I'll be a trooper. I'll be a trooper.
All right, cool.
All right.
Smooth.
Chase that down actually with this good water.
He said, I got to chase that one down. All right, so we got another one. Mm-hmm. It's possible to make water from scratch. Bullshit or not bullshit?
Bullshit. I mean, Like, there's several ways you can collect water.
Bring that little shot glass over here, because you about to take another drink. One time.
Like, to make water? The question is confusing me.
So, you can make water, because all you need is, hydrogen. And
so you talking about actually scientifically making water? Yes, I can make another human being with science. I'm thinking, are you talking about I'm at the crib and I'm like, you know what, I'm about to make me some water today. I don't think too many people got this under their kitchen cabinet.
See, you little smart guy. I didn't give the scenario. I just say in general.
I
no
can
matter
make
what.
chickens with science. I can create I can literally go make another goat off of a goat with science. So to answer your question, yes.
All right.
But can you do it at home? I would say hell no, unless you're gonna have the people at your door. Why do you have these products?
You're right. So not bullshit. Not bullshit.
All right. I'll still take the shot though.
He said I still take the shot. So not bullshit.
I messed up. So,
all right. So let me take a little one right here. Smooth.
It is very smooth.
Smooth. All right. So am I supposed to take a shot or no? That was you, huh?
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, you got me.
All right. So number 5. This is the last question right here.
All right.
For the bullshit, no bullshit.
The finale question here.
All right.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. A person can survive more than a week without water.
No, you cannot survive that long without water.
So bullshit.
Without food, yeah, bullshit. I'm sorry.
I said bullshit?
Bullshit.
So how many days? You know how many days or how many
if I'm not mistaken,
weeks or what?
3. 3 days without water.
You got that all right, man. So it's 3 days. So it's 3 days.
Die without good water.
So without good water. Without good water.
I'll take a sip of my martini just to make you feel comfortable.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely. Yes, sir. You don't need no chaser with that. What you need chaser with that?
That was good. Hey, look, man.
Too smooth.
That is definitely
especially when you clear the palate, you know what I mean, with that first one.
Hey, look.
After that, it's smooth.
I have to advertise my product by drinking out of this Kalos cup.
It's good water in here, by the way.
Good water here, guys.
Good water.
Mm-hmm.
Super good, super tasty.
There we go. Very crisp.
So now that was like our shot. Now we're traveling, right? So we were taking our shots on the plane. Now those are our shots on the plane. Now we go into the travel.
Okay.
Now we landing. Where's the first location that you've been overseas or? Yeah, I say overseas.
So
traveling.
It's a 2-part question for me. Mm-hmm. When I was 10, my mama took me on a cruise for my 10th birthday, and we went to like all the Caribbean islands and stuff. Mm-hmm. But that was like, you a kid. I was 10. Mm-hmm. My first adult place I went to was Amsterdam.
Okay.
So that was, I remember that one quite well. That was a great trip, and that's what pretty much put the battery in my back to like, let me try to do this as much as possible.
Got it. Why? Because you went to the red light district, huh? That's why.
Put the battery in my back. Now I went just to look. Now I also discovered that there's blue lights there too.
Oh yeah, they do actually.
I ain't against nobody's creed, religion, sex, or anything like that. But it was funny. I remember the first time we went, it was like these 5 Asian dudes. I want to say it was more. And I didn't know what the blue lights meant. So I just seen this chick at the door, and I seen all 5 of the dudes go in. And one of our boys was like, oh, wait, the blue lights is dudes. And I was like, wait a minute. I just seen these 5 dudes go in there and the curtains closed and all that. And I was like, oh, this is... Oh,
so you was already inside. You was already...
We were walking down. There's bars on the red light district as well. So we going into bars and whatnot, and we just walking around. It's my first time here, and I think we were headed to the club. So we pre-gaming, drinking beers, and taking shots before the club. And on the way to the club, we see, I'm learning all this. So we did go to the red light district. I did not partake. But definitely an experience, it's a big weed capital. I don't partake usually, but definitely partook there. Definitely, I likened it to like the Vegas of Europe. Okay. Because I met so many different people from Europe, and that extended where I would travel next. I was meeting people from Germany, people from Sweden, people from, all these different European places. And that inspired me to, go visit these places or now I had a person to hit up like, hey, remember we met, you know, a month ago or 2 months ago in Amsterdam. I'm gonna pull up to your city. What is there to do? Link up with them, and then, you know, it was just a never-ending cycle of meeting cool people, being able to travel, and being able to travel with locals as well.
Nice. Did you and where was your favorite place you ever been to?
My favorite, I would say Croatia is up there. Croatia was like a big party spot. So my first time going to Croatia, I think I was like 23 or something like that. So the only thing that was on my mind is like partying and women. So it was like, you go there, tall black dude.
They thought you was a basketball player or something, like
off top, and I'm like, little do you know, I barely play sports. I'll watch them, but I barely play them.
Say, I'm not LeBron, but I'm Brian. I'm Bronny Brian.
I'm like, look, my name is Marcel. You might have not heard of me, but it was also like a catch. They were like, where are you from? I'm like, Compton. Oh my God, Compton. It was like
celebrity status.
It was like that cliche. You see it on the movies. Oh, you know this person. Like, yeah, that's my cousin. I'm gonna go ahead and lie. But
you're supposed to know Tupac and everybody. You're supposed to know everybody.
Tupac, I seen him yesterday. He ain't dead. But like I would say Croatia won, Australia. Like I don't have not one favorite I can think. I would say this: Barbados might be top. Like Barbados is a place I think I went for 3 days with my boys that I usually travel with, and we partied for 3 full days from sun up to sundown. We were on a beach partying. We were at the club partying. I cracked a tooth and don't even remember how it happened the next morning type of thing.
Hangover situation.
Like, straight hangover story. Yeah. And that was fun. I can't choose a favorite, but if I would say like...
It's all unique. It's all unique.
Exactly. Like I just went to Belize like 2 weeks ago, and I can say every place has like that one category I can put it in as far as favorites. But if I had to pick, like I like to go to places that are like, that make me reflect. Like, I don't know, eat, pray, love type story, but
for sure.
It was like when you go there, you're like, damn, this is crazy. Like somebody really had to create this because this is just crazy. It looked like it's out of a movie. So
for sure.
I would say Barbados is that first place. I was like, damn, I didn't go for long, but I'm like, this is a beautiful place.
Yeah, it is so serene and beautiful. And kind of like, I mean, it's for me, Tulum, going out there, Tulum, and those underwater caves. And for me, I feel like the water got healing powers out there.
It's amazing.
I went over there and put the underwater cave, and I had like a scar on my hand or something. And I feel like after I came out the water, it was like scabby. It was already healing up. I'm like, yo, what's going on here?
That's crazy.
Like, it's good water.
Me and my girl,
good water.
Me and my girl, we went to Tulum, and I want to say maybe 2020. It had to be 2020 or 2021, like the cusp of 2021. And we went to the cenotes, and we was both dead tired, and she was dead tired. And I begged her, like, look, I know you tired, but we ain't here for that long. And she had took me for my birthday, and I'm like, look, let's just knock it out. We go, and it felt like we had a second wind. I literally swam a mile down a cenote, and took off my like life vest and all that, was jumping off the cliffs. And I can't remember what cenote it was. They had another one that was like, 200 feet deep or something.
By like the Escrat, huh?
Yeah. So, and it looked kind of like at a theme park type setting where you go through all the cenotes, but it was an amazing like feel, especially like it was just good people, good vibes, and that was a real good trip.
Yeah, no, it is. It's like healing powers, man. Just traveling in general to good places, especially with the right people, with good people and good energy.
It's like a mental healing for you.
It is.
That's the one thing I spend money on. Like, I don't spend money on too many like material things. Like, of course, we all like stuff, but if it come to travel, like, that's the one thing. I travel for food and I travel for, a good time, a good vibe, I guess you could say. An experience.
No, most definitely. That's what it's all about. I mean, you have to, because we're not here for long. And even if you're here, if you're lucky for 110 years, if you're lucky, it's like, that's not a long time in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, when you look at it, that's a very short amount of time because,
for sure.
I mean, time is going to keep going with you or without you. So,
most definitely.
You got to make the best out of your time here and don't do it for nobody else, do it for yourself.
Most definitely. And that's an impact, that's most definitely. If you do it, when you live for yourself, like I always say, people like Muhammad Ali, Tupac, Marcus Garvey, all these individuals, influential individuals, they didn't wake up like, I'm finna be Tupac today. You know what I mean? It was just who they were, and who they were just end up shifting culture. Just end up,
and
you know,
if you look
changing
at how
things.
young they were when they were doing
Yeah.
it, like if you look at Martin Luther King, Stokely Carmichael, Malcolm X, Tupac, like they was all from like 25 to 40 in age. Stokely might have been a little older when he passed, but everybody was young when they was doing this. So watching that as a kid and reading these books about Malcolm X or seeing, you know, these stories about Tupac, Martin Luther King, which we're all reminded of so much because that's like the spokesperson for Black history now.
Yeah, right.
But if you look at, you know, all these people, they were so instrumental at a very young age. And that's what I pride myself on, not being like instrumental because I can never compare myself to them, but in my own right, to live your life and, you know, do what's on your heart. If you feel like you want to travel, if you feel like you want to take a risk and open a business, hell, if you feel like you want to, you know, go work at Honda or which I've done before, work at, you know, wherever it is, do it because all you got is time and you should just jump at whatever you feel because that experience that you get from it will always teach you another lesson.
Most definitely. No, you're 100% right. And speaking of that, you say that you started, so before you even open your good water and market, you were actually in other companies.
I was.
So where did you work prior to starting your company?
So I was at Delta from 2011 to like 2017, and I was also working at Dodge I started as a lube tech and went to like an intermediate tech, and that was also 2016 through 2018. So I was working 2 jobs for a while. Got out of that industry, well, as far as the tech, and then I seen people making more money in sales, so I went to sales. And actually, in between that, I went to service advising. So I pretty much covered every position in the dealership that you can do. And it was good money. Like you can make a really good amount of money in doing that, but you also devote a lot of your time to it.
Yes, for sure.
And I've always been a person like, of course we all want to, you know, be wealthy, but I'm not willing to sacrifice all my time to do so. So once I got comfortable and got to an amount saved up where I was like, I can get out of this, I got out of it. And it was like, I'll take that risk to start my own business. But also on the side, like I used to help one of my cousins build Harleys. I used to, you know, do every little hustle you could think of, flipping cars,
flipping cars is big.
It's a big thing.
You can get into that. That's
buy a
big,
bucket and flip it. So, and me knowing how to work on cars, it was like I could just do this. So I used to do everything like I can think of as far as like I'm really good with my hands. I've never seen myself being at a desk. I've always liked to be handy. So that was the one thing that saved me when I was in between like jobs or wasn't making enough at one and I wanted to make more.
Yeah, most definitely. See, I mean, able to pivot. I mean, that's great.
Exactly.
You're able to pivot and able to, you know, transcend and go into different, you know, industries and still. And I think that's a gift. You know, that's a gift to have. And a lot, you know, when you know, again, it goes back to your why and your purpose and who you are. At a young age, you already knew kind of who you were and what your abilities were. And I think when you know that at a young age, you know, it kind of, the world is your oyster, you know, and you can pretty much, you know, if you got a good heart, you know, with a solid mind and, you know, anything can, you know, can happen. And I think,
sure.
You know, and for you to be 30, but like, it's important. So it's important that we get this. You're 30 years old right now. You were 24 or so when you were starting all this. So you finally opened up your good water at the age of 29. So within these 4 or 5 years, you were developing, you know, and you already knew what you wanted and already knew who it is that who you were, you know. And I think that's important because a lot of people want to start businesses. A lot of people want to travel. A lot of people want to do all these, you know, they want the glitz and glamour, I say, you know, but there's a lot of work that goes into, you know, the glitz to get to the glitz and glamour. And you were able to, you know, figure out at a young age exactly what you were doing it for and why you were doing it and how you were doing it till you were able to develop a water company. You're able to travel. You're able to work these different numerous jobs and who weren't for you at an early age. There's a lot of people that's, you know, and I feel sorry for them. They're, you know, 60 years old, 50, 40 years old, doing a job that they really don't want to do, but they have to do it because of they didn't set themselves up in their early 30s and 20s. And they have to do it now because they have kids, they have responsibilities, and which is right? You have these responsibilities, you got to take care of them. Is this a job the only thing that's going to provide you to do that? So be it. And I commend that because you can easily be like, I ain't handling none of that. I'm just going to do it after me and forget about all my responsibilities. So it's a purpose, but it's sometimes sad that these people can do more, but they can't because they're stuck in this cycle, whether it's the matrix or whatever you want to call it. And I think, when I feel like age is important when you're talking about business, people age, how they funded it, how, what were their background, all that is important because my purpose of this whole podcast, right, is to show people at a young age, and even if you're not at a young age, but to show you in general, the mindset you have to be able to live your life. It's not about getting to $10 million. It's about the journey to get to 10 million. Because you may not ever make it to 10 million, but you traveled to 100, 50, 30 countries. You do this, you paid off your house, you did all this stuff. You bought all the cars you always wanted. You traveled, you maybe met the president once or twice. You did everything you want to do. You never reached the 10 million, but you lived your life and your purpose the way you wanted through that whole process.
Everybody, life is about experiences. Like you can get the riches during them experiences, and that makes it that much greater. But it's about experiences. When you're on your deathbed, if you have the blessing to remember, your life. Like I tell everybody, like, of course, I love cars, and to have cars, you have to have money, and I love homes. And if you walk into my store, you'll see me watching like. All these home reviews and people like touring these big ass houses, $10 million, $20 million homes.
Yeah, majority of them in Texas.
The funny thing, I look at this dude named Enos on YouTube, and he be touring these homes in Malibu and all this stuff, and I'm like, damn, these some big ass houses. And it's just like, all right, that's an experience in itself, like being able to buy and live in these houses. But I believe in the experience will take you where you want to go. So I don't harp on, I got to do this to be a millionaire. I got to do this. Like, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be a boss. I'm going to be this. It's like, my experiences is going to take me there. My experiences have now allowed me to quit my job and solely work on my own business. My experiences have led me to being strong enough to deal with the overwhelming feelings and the stress of owning a business, maintaining a business. You got to make that release every month. You got to make, I sell products, so you got to be able to buy the products to sell. You got to know how to price everything. You got to come up, like I'm in customer service every day, so you got to be on your up and up. You got to, that's all experiences have taught me how to do that. So I feel like people that harp on, being a celebrity or being rich or something like that, like you're not gonna last too long because you harping on the wrong things. You gotta, put love in your life and
for sure.
The people around you. Like I lived vicariously. All my friends are like older than me. My family that I've been around, everybody's older than me. Live vicariously through them. Live vicariously through their mistakes, and eventually, you'll succeed through certain stuff, and certain stuff you're gonna go through on your own. But them experiences, that's what's gonna build you.
Definitely. It builds the character. It builds the character for sure. And I mean, like you're saying, like the word ancestors, like you were saying, I feel like ancestors is such a glorifying like stigma or a thing to that, to where ancestors, this is like 100 years ago, your ancestors can be 30 days ago. It can be a year, 2 years ago, your ancestor. You know what I mean? It's people who paved the way for you, or people who went through things, whether good or bad, that you can benefit from vicariously and be able to be like, oh shoot, like they did that and won from that, or they did that and it wasn't a good thing. I'm gonna do it this way. It could be your mom, it could be your aunt, it could be your uncle, it could be anybody.
It's all that for me.
That could be your ancestor. You know what I mean? You don't have to be someone that passed away that's that was on a boat that went from Africa. You know what I mean?
Type of thing.
It's not that. And I think that's another thing we do too much is we put so many like glorifying words and so much power on words sometimes to where it creates fear or creates these type of things to where like, if it ain't done this way, we can't do it.
Nah, like I definitely would say like, hey, look, I'm black. I'm very black. My ancestors, everything is genetic for me. But as close as it is, like my grandma was one of my best friends. My grandma, 81 years old. My grandma from Texas, she used to pick cotton. She is one of the funniest people I know. And my mama, another big inspiration for me. My pops, another big inspiration. All these people are intricate in my life and have helped me. And like you said, they can be called, ancestor. And I'm always gonna respect my elders. And a lot of like my older homies that I've grown up around, are in their 40s and 50s, and they made the mistakes, or they tell you where you can tighten up at. Just like my mom, she'll do that for me. My mom has been like the person that's had my back through thick and thin. If I make a mistake, and I can't hustle up enough to do something, or I'm stuck, my mom has always been that person to reel me back in and then like cut me loose. Like, nah, you got it.
So she was your mentor.
Yeah,
she was your mentor
and
before.
my grandma was like that person that'll speak intention into me. Like, this is like a black woman that's been out of Texas for 40 years, but still talk like she left yesterday with her accent. And she'll let you know, like, grandmas are always gonna speak with caution, but she'll let you know, like, no, you got it. Go ahead. You good. And talk a little shit too.
Yeah.
And that's why she's my best friend. We'll talk shit with each other. But yeah, it's all about, the intentions. And I say, I live off my grandma's prayers. My pops, he's a praying person. I live off their prayers and they good will and they good wishes, and also the people I live vicariously through, whether it's a friend or somebody that come in my store and they older cat and I feel like they might be talking too long, but you still listening. 30 minutes done went by and you might have got like 2 words that taught you a lesson type of thing. Like you said, that's like an ancestor, like you said. So you can get it in a lot of places, but you ain't got to go back to, slavery to be like, I'm doing this for them. Like, of course, I'm doing it for everybody in my lineage, but I'm also doing it for the people that's still here.
Most definitely. Yeah, that's important. That's important, guys. And for those who are listening, really pay attention to what this man just said, because you got to think about it. Again, like I say, I put things in perspective, and you have to put, in order to put things in perspective, you have to know what you put in perspective. So, again, I go back to the age that's important. We're both 30 years old, just hit our 30s, and we both own companies and founders of companies. And I think it's important because what he just said is everything that I have in my support and in my tribe. So I have a grandmother, my mom. I was raised by my mom. All this stuff is important because it shouldn't be looked at as like a failure or as a bad thing or not. It should be looked at as that's your situation, and this is what you have to do to amplify your situation. And I think, he have taken a lot from his elders, and a lot of people I hang around with is elders. You know what I mean? And they're older than me. And I have one mentor. I'm hoping that I can have him on pretty soon. He was an ex-football player, played for the 49ers, started this multi-million-dollar, company, and they own franchises, around the country, excuse me, not around the country domestically, but we're around the country, but domestically. And
nationally.
Nationally, and he built this, from ground up with $100,000 and built it to where it is now, well over 100 something, probably 200 something franchises now. And they only been in business, I don't think, no longer than 10 years or so. And he was able to do this, and I think, and hopefully I get him on here, when you hear him talk, he talks about the same thing. He was raised by his mother. He was raised by, his dad was in his life here and there, but he talked about how his mom was a hustler, his dad was a hustler, how he learned from his mom and the things she had to endure, and how she was working any job to make sure she could provide for her kid and all that. And it's always that underlining, I don't know if it instills fear in you, or if it instills ambition, hunger, and just, I don't want that to happen to me. It might be all of it, who knows, but it really does, feel you and really do make you, just put a battery in your back.
Nah,
just
for sure.
Makes you go hard, for sure.
It's that underlying thing, like you said, that's just like, it's that subconscious thought that just makes you like, I got a little bit more drive. I can do this. That's what I liken it to, at least.
Most definitely. Yeah, no, that's right. That's what it is. That's what it is. I feel like it's the underlining, subconsciousness of, you always got this in the back of your head, like, it can be a lot worse, or it can get way better because, X, Y, and Z, whatever.
For sure.
So I think that's it. Yeah, for sure. Well, you know what, Marcel? This is a great conversation, man, and I do appreciate you coming by and enjoying your good water.
Yes, sir.
It's super
yes, sir.
good.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna close it out here, but before we close it out, man, where can we find us again? And and what would you want to tell your customer, and your tribe and your people, like, about your water, about your product, about yourself before we close it out?
You can find us at thegoodwaterco.la on Instagram. It's mostly where we do most of stuff, and that's across all platforms as far as Twitter, TikTok, even though I'm terrible at posting, but on Instagram I do post a lot more. You can also find us at our brick and mortar, 840 West Gardena Boulevard, Gardena 90247. Yeah, it's on the bottles. And what I like to leave everybody with is just, I'm a little bit of everybody. Everybody that come in my store, I can relate to them. I get a lot of support from my folks, whether it's in my city or out. The Black and Hispanic communities support me a lot. I'm in a Hispanic predominant community, and I'm just trying to provide for myself and my community. I would love to take this and, turn it into something that can provide to the community, make the street that we're on look like, something that they got in Larchmont without having to, bring in other people. Like, we have it in ourselves to make our communities like a dope place.
Yeah, definitely.
And hopefully I can be like that catalyst that inspires a lot of people to do so. And if you are trying to be an entrepreneur out there, go for it. That's what I'm like. I do not come from an entrepreneurial background. I did not have anybody to ask questions even to this day. Like, I bounce a lot of stuff off my girl, who's also an entrepreneur. And, we bounce off of each other and certain people. But, hey, I would love to leave people with the Good Water Co. Started and officially started in 2020.
Nice.
And, we're going to take this, to the sky. The sky is the limit.
Sky's the limit.
We're going to definitely try to take this in places. So
let's do it. And if anywhere I can help, man, let's make it happen.
Oh,
how we can do it. And man, it's the Good Water Company and Market. Don't forget, it's a market as well. He has a lot of minority-owned companies that's in that market that he sells. So make sure you check him out on Gardena, 840 West Gardena Boulevard, 90247. So if you're in the area or if you're traveling to LA, you most definitely check him out. And man, we're going to keep on making this good water, good, clean water. And of course, you can't make vodka without clean, crisp water. You have to have that good, pristine, purified water. And that's how you make good companies, by hydration, by filling your body with good nutrients, and with 60% water.
60% of crisp, clean water. But this Kalos done skewed my answers, so I'm gonna blame you.
That's it. He's gonna blame me.
That's it.
And that's it for Kalos Cocktail Hour. See you guys next week. All right, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Definitely.